Right. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's just a little after 11 o'clock, and those of you that will watch the recording back, I hope that you are doing well and are enjoying your week thus far. Today is pretty much going to be a bit of a review and going over how I give feedback for the plans. The plans, as I discussed on Monday, are an extremely important part of the process. I know that many people, and this is my entire educational career, that plans get questioned a lot. It's the reasoning behind plans get questioned. Like, why do we even have to plan this out, Miss P? Why can't we just go right into creating the presentation? So
Of course.
it's to prepare you. It's to prepare you. It's to give you a direction of where you need to be and where you need to go. So as your mentor, because at the beginning of this month, the first half of the month, I'm an active mentor. I'm here to guide you and give you direction. I'm observing things and looking at what makes you tick, what inspires you, and it's my job as your mentor to get you to be aware of your capabilities. So you might not even be aware that you have already started planning and you have already been thinking of your goals and your aspirations and the reasonings you chose to embark on this path here at Full Sail. So the first thing that we did this week was the discussion board, and the discussion board for week 2 has to do with your inspiration. And the way that I pitched this on Monday night was inspiration comes from everywhere. So on the instructions, it does say that, think about someone in your industry that has inspired you to go on the path that you have chose to go on. However, inspiration comes from everywhere. And I understand that there are many factors that go into either sharing links to videos or interviews that many of you are inspired, especially the gaming industry, are inspired by those that English is not their first language. However, that's a strength. For me, as an instructor, as an educator, I feel like those that come from other cultures and kind of merge with our culture over here have an advantage. They're bringing forth ideas, having experience, and from both sides. And as long as you are relating the conversation back to Julian Treasure's Hale method and observing how the presenter uses honesty and authenticity, integrity, and love. These are some of the tools that you can adopt as the mentor when you're trying to be the presenter. So this discussion board is really one of my favorites because of the fact that without you even knowing it, you're already formulating what's in your heart. You're already formulating goals and aspirations and really what has spoke to you as an artist. No matter what what form of art that you do, whether it is game design or you're an audio engineer, or you play music, or you write poetry, or you rap, or sing at church, whatever your art is, um, it comes out in your surrounding inspiration. Um, so what I'm seeing so far, and I started this morning. I started with my first section, and I'm about halfway through on the second section, and then I'll be on to the third one. And what I'm seeing so far is amazing things. Uh, there are influences by those that are on this path of positivity and motivation. There are speakers that have come from nothing and are making a name for themselves, and they're giving back to their communities, inspiring other artists to do the same. Um, all this stuff is from your heart. It's mirroring what you aspire to do. So what I like to do with this discussion board is go in and pick out those parts that I feel have spoke to your truth, if that makes sense, and put you in a direction of, okay, you say you took a quote from the speaker or something that they have created, and I'm asking you the question, well, how is this going to be true to your own path? How do you intend to start now, start at the very beginning of the journey, and intend to make all this come true and influence your fans or potential clients, or to wow a company and get them to notice you, and get them to really think about what we need this person on our team. They're innovative, they're inspiring, they're creative, and it's all an illustration of being aware of your capabilities. Okay. The last thing that I want to say about the discussion board, and this is going from the first week, by now you guys have all your grades for week 1. They were actually finished by Tuesday, so you should have your grades and feedback from me. Unless you submitted late or it didn't make a submission, you now have a message from me. On that note, and it's present company excluded, so this is for those that are going to be watching the recording. Understand that deadlines are intense, especially at a school such as Full Sail, where you only have 4 weeks. That's it. Yeah, we have 4 weeks together before you move on. So the turnover is pretty intense, and deadlines are intense. It's not only your deadlines, but your instructors have deadlines as well. Think about how important it is to get you feedback in a timely manner. That way you stay on point and you know what you're doing both correctly and awesome, and you know what you need to improve on. So it's important to meet deadlines. And yes, in the handbook it does give a policy, but know that it isn't automatic, and it is your responsibility to stay in contact with your instructors at all times. We're not ogres, we're not fire-breathing dragons. All we ask for is that you have the respect enough to let us know what's going on and give us the chance to be able to help you. That's what we're here for. We're there to guide you and help you to a path of success. I will piggyback on that and say that as you progress in your program, everyone is different, especially when you get into the heart of your degree. There may or may not be an opportunity for you to make up work or be late. Know that it really it is in the honor of an institution such as a university that late work is not something that is readily accepted, especially with an intense schedule as we have. So be on top of it. Know that I promised you from the very beginning, and I hold on to my promises, that I give you everything that you need in order to be successful here. It's up to you to utilize that information. So you'll have it, but it's your responsibility to check your emails or check your announcements. Know that I give examples, I give helpful tips, I give extra things that can make you understand what you can do for any one of the assignments. Okay, enough about that. Just understand that it is my job, especially in the first month, to let you know and make you aware of what you need to be successful. There are things that are going to be expected as you go on through the program. And the first month gets questioned. Well, didn't Miss P tell you how to submit a file correctly, or didn't she explain to you the RISE model? Didn't she say that deadlines are important? So I have to make sure that I'm giving you everything that you need to be successful. Okay, so with the discussion board, make sure that you are returning back to the discussion board and you are responding to at least 2 of your classmates. At least 2 of your classmates are meeting the requirements. So know that meeting the requirements is not an A. It's meeting the requirements. You're somewhere in the middle, like a B. If you getting an A is going above and beyond, thinking outside the box, responding to more than the minimum required, carrying on the conversation, asking questions. So please keep that in mind when you are responding to week 2. Do you guys have any questions on that? Awesome. Okay, so enough. I don't want to bore you with that stuff anymore, but I have to make sure that I address it. Okay, so the assignment for this week. Now that you have your initial post for the discussion board, and incidentally, again, the present company excluded, but those of you that will watch the recording, if you have not posted your initial post, know that the deadline for initial posts are on Wednesday, and make sure that you are doing that first, the first thing that you should do, and give me an opportunity to be able to respond back to you. So make sure you do that. So now that your initial post is out of the way, know that you have up until Sunday to make any modifications. You can add anything that you want to add, or respond to as many classmates as you want to respond to. Now it's time to really focus on the assignment. And the assignment has to do with the planning process. And I went over this on Monday night, but as a review, I'm gonna go through just the basics. And then what I really want to talk about today is the Simon Sinek TED that I shared with you, I believe on Tuesday. I shared a link with you to watch that TED. If you haven't watched that TED, no worries. You have plenty of time to go back and watch that TED. However, I'm going to focus on his repeatable soundbite that he does throughout the entire presentation and how it threads. It's how I give you feedback for the plans. So if you keep in mind the idea of the golden circle, and I'm going to explain what that is, you will hit everything that you need to hit in order to have that foundation for your plans. Okay, so in planning presentations, there are many factors that you should keep in mind. And these, incidentally, these questions are those guided questions on your instructions. And they're food for thought. They're to keep in mind what you need to think of when it goes into creating a plan. And the first and foremost is who is your audience? All of week one, we were talking about it, and you were reading about the fact that the audience is your hero. So in order to make that marriage or make that relationship really strong, and be effective as a presenter, you need to identify who your audience is so you could speak to them and engage them and relate to them. Okay, so I gave you 3 choices or 3 different avenues that you could go in, and this is knowing your audience. So the first one was a hire me situation, and I gave you guys some links on examples of really solid examples. One was Google Please Hire Me, and the other one was Crystal Turmington, I think her name is. And this is the most direct way. And I say that it's the most direct way because if you come here and you had in mind a company that you aspire to work for, whether it's Disney or Pixar or Naughty Dog or Telltale Games, Atlantic Records, Death Row Records, insert company name here, it kind of gives you a little bit of a direct direction, because this is what you can do. You have a company, you research said company. So research what Disney is about. I mean, we understand that Disney is the happiest place on earth when you're talking about Disney World. But really, what is their motto? What are they about? What is their personal brand, and how do you fit into their personal brand? Read over the mission statement. Is that what you adopt as your philosophy? And if you don't, it will kind of give you an idea that maybe that company isn't the best fit for you, and you need to research further. What this also does is it sets the tone of your presentation. A video resume that gets submitted for, say, IBM is going to be much different than a video resume that's sent to Disney. The tone, the diction of your voice, the demeanor, your posture, like all the information is going to be a lot different. IBM is a little bit more, it's on a serious note, where Disney, if you come across very businesslike, they want to see personality. Am I making sense? So you want to know your audience, because you want to speak to them directly. Case in point, I received a final presentation a couple of months back, and they were pitching to Pixar, and it was very straightforward and monotone, and just a fact after fact after fact. And there was no indication of their craft or their personality. And that was part of my notes back when I looked at the rough draft, is remember who you are speaking to. Pixar is all about innovation and imagination and creating characters that make you feel. And it opened up this light bulb. The final presentation was a drastic change from the rough draft, and it's not anyone's fault, because we're so used to one type of presentation where we have to have these slides and we have to have the facts and some clip art, but that it's beyond that. It's so much more. Presentations are so much more than just slide after slide after slide. It's personality. It's showing examples of what you can do. It's not just telling the person you're creative and you have mountains of work and experience. It's actually showing them what you can do and what you're capable of. So knowing the company is the first step. Then look into your degree. Look into what your journey is going to be the entire time you're here at Full Sail. All the programs that you're going to learn, the skills that you're going to obtain, the projects that you are going to potentially do, all this is going to fall into line. And especially with the new ecosystem that we have created here at Full Sail, you're going to have points in your journey where you're going to work on your portfolio and gather pieces that you've been working on towards your portfolio, and be excited that you're going to have these pieces. Be excited that you are going to evolve, and you have the power to make that come true, and you have the power to own those skills like you are an expert. So yes, you're at the very beginning stages, but you could speak about this with confidence because you are already going to set the goal that I'm going to take advantage of everything that is in front of me, and I will have these skills. I will own my degree. I will work towards whatever I need to work towards. After you find out about your journey and get excited about what you're going to learn, you could go back to the company page and look at current positions that are offered at the company and read over their career page, read over the position. What does it entail? What do you need in order to be a candidate for a position? And get excited. Just as I got excited when I was going through an MFA program and I found out Telltale Games was hiring for a writer. Although I was just starting my degree and could not apply for that position, I read over what it entailed, what they wanted, and I knew that I was going to write, I was going to have pieces to submit to them, and that I had the potential to go after a position at Telltale Games. And it was exciting. It was really exciting because I had in my head, although I was at the very beginning stages, is I could do this. I can write this. I can ensure that I will be creating all these assets. So it's a motivation. It's a motivator. And if you choose this, it's the most direct way for your final presentation. It gives you a lot of hope of what potential you have while you're here at Full Sail. The next one is Join Me, and Join Me is, I explained that could be in two ways. You either have a cause that you want to both bring awareness, but you also want to bring about a solution, a possible solution. That is your call to action. You're getting others to join you in this cause and bring this solution to fruition. So it's great to motivate people with education and make them aware with knowledge. But in order for the movement to take off and for other people to follow you, you need to bring about solution. Okay? So know that this one entails a lot of research because it's one thing to, again, know about a movement and bring knowledge, but that you have to have a plan of action to make it come alive and make the movement stick. You could also go the project route, where one thing that I stress here, and especially, it's kind of easier on campus because you can physically look around at everyone, but you guys are in a rare position at this very first month. You're in a classroom full of diversity, and you have film students, and you have writers, and you have coders, you have mobile development, you have computer animation, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And there's so much strength in that because we all need each other. Whatever it's going to be, there's a team of people that puts things together. For example, in film, could you imagine going to a movie without any score, without any soundtrack behind it to evoke those emotions. You know, think of a horror movie without like those intense violins to like make you sit up in your seat and scream at the uh, scream at the screen. Don't go in there. They're behind the door. You know, could you imagine a classic like Jaws without that intense music to make you fear? You know, it makes you fear. It lends to the emotion. And even beyond that, you may have a writer that wrote this story and they know how to write this story, they know character development and plot, but they never touched uh, putting their story on screen and don't know the first thing about writing a script. So in order to make a project happen, you need a team of people, and that is the other way you can go with Join Me. So there's many of you that came to Full Sail because you have that idea in mind, you have that dream of making something happen. You have a project in mind, and you came here to build up those skills and get those new skills. But networking is the key because you need all those people in order to make it happen. Makes sense so far, guys? Cool. Just a quick question before I go on to last one. Have you guys thought about which direction you want to go in yet? I want it all. That's awesome, Kayla. Yes. And I will tell you, and that's the way I'm gonna end this session, but I will tell you, go for all of them. For this planning purpose, sky's the limit, and the more avenues you have to go into, the more opportunity I have as your mentor to be able to observe and then guide you in the direction of your strengths. So if you have a couple of ideas in mind, share them. Please share them. That's what the planning process is for. And Justin, it's okay to be undecided, you know, having a yes and no. Again, that's what week 2 is all about. It's getting all your ideas down and giving me the opportunity to give you guidance and direction. So what I don't want to happen for you guys is to stress out over the planning process. Know that the planning process, and one of my students in my Canvas class about 2 months ago gave an analogy about the planning process, and I thought it was really cool. She said, "So, Miss P, what you want us to do is vomit all over the page and turn that in." And it made me giggle, as it does now. But yes, that's what I mean. You want to get all your ideas out on paper. It's what I call a controlled chaos. Right now, your mind is just working through everything. You are getting used to the fact that you're back in school. You have all these ideas and goals and aspirations, and it's really exciting. But that's what a plan is. You're getting all your ideas out on paper. Of course, there should be some structure to it, and you need details in order for me to make a strong evaluation. But yes, put everything, vomit all over the page. Kayla, that will be something that I will guide you to. It is a more direct way if you have a specific company in mind. However, many of my students have several companies in mind. And it usually has to do it at least what I recommend for you to do, at least go into one industry. So, whether it's film or it's writing, a creative writing, or it's the gaming industry, focus on that one specific industry. When it comes to your final presentation, you are going to want to speak to one, just because companies are different. There are all types. If I was to go to apply for a job at Harvard University, my interview would be very different than applying for Full Sail University. They're night and day. So that my delivery of information is so different. And if you have a generalization when it comes to your final presentation, the audience is not going to be identified. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, the last one is a buy me situation. And in the buy me situation, you are talking to investors. There is no diversion. There is no like several different ways that you can go about this. Buy me is you're talking to investors. That means you do not have the capital yourself to create your own record label or create your own production company or even make an SD page. You don't have the capital in order to do that, so you need investors, you need other people with lots of money to help you. And the sole purpose is that you have to make it a point of sharing information that allows them to understand what their return is going to be. So this has to do with a lot of numbers. They want to know money. They want to know interest. They want to know investment time. And what their return, what their risk is. So in an email that I sent to you, and it's also on your announcements, I shared a link to a slide deck that I created for pitches. And what it is it's not that you have to use every single slide, but it gives you kind of a map on what you should be including when it comes to a pitch. Okay, and again, you do not have to use all the information. It's up to you to know who you're speaking to, what industry, and what kind of information you should put in your presentation. I guess, Mark, it would be up to you on what your ultimate goal. So my question would be, what is your ultimate goal with designing t-shirts? Okay, you're probably typing, so I'll look for your answer. Okay, Mark, sounds good to me. Absolutely, I'm here to help you. Okay, so this guy right here, Simon Sinek, brilliant, 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 brilliant. I'm actually gonna get the opportunity to listen to him talk on a leadership podcast, a leadercast tomorrow, which is awesome. I'm so excited. But he's brilliant. He has a book. He's done several TEDs, and he has this idea. It pertains to business, but it really correlates with any type of presentation out there. And his idea of the golden circle is stellar in the way that if you use his golden circle as a foundation of planning out your presentation, it's going to be highly effective. You will touch upon every part of the hero's journey of what we were talking about. Captivating the audience, becoming that mentor, and leading your audience into making that decision, giving them a direction in which they can follow and understand the heart of why you're doing what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and what it is that you set out to do and what you need from them. So, I would play it for you guys. However, in the go-to sessions, videos kind of lag. So know that this is on your announcements and in your at full sale email. I will bring you to that right now. So remember that getting announcements, you would just click on the envelope icon, go to announcements, and it's going to bring you to this page. So on the first, I sent out this announcement. It has, it talks about the discussion board. It gives you several links to examples of what a plan could look like. So this is very helpful to give you kind of a visual of what you can do. I also share a playlist with you on Lynda. This gives you an opportunity of tutorials that pertain to our class and will help you in presentation and delivery. Just added helpful tips. And then I share the Simon Sinek link with you right on the announcements. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the TED, I highly, highly recommend that you go back and you watch it. It's worth it. It's 18 minutes, but it's so worth it. So worth it. Okay, so this is the golden circle in essence. It's the why, the how, and the what. And this is how I break down your plans. And I give you feedback by pulling things from your plans and showing you where they fall when it comes to the golden circle, to give you a solid direction. If you think about the why, the how, and the what, it's really going back to the foundations that Nancy told us about a story. So your why is the beginning, your how is the middle, and your what is the end. Okay? And then if you go way, way back to the first discussion board where I ended with get them to feel, get them to think, and get them to remember. So your why is get them to feel. Hit them in their heart. And the way that you could hit them in your heart is showing them the way that you could hit them in their heart is showing them yours. So showing them yours is the core, the epicenter of what inspired you to go on the path that you are currently on. There was something that happened in your life that called you to this adventure. And I mentioned it before, I set the stage that, you're like 7 years old and you're sitting in your living room and you're watching Toy Story for the first time. And Woody and Buzz Lightyear are speaking to you as if you were the only person in the room. And this sparked this interest of wanting to create characters that will make others feel the way you felt when you saw them on screen for the first time. That's a why. That is a reasoning that sparked this whole journey for you. It could have been a character in a novel. It could have been a poet that spoke at an open mic. It could have been a comedian that was on stage and their delivery was just killer, and it sparked that interest in you. So your why is why you were inspired to embark on the career that you embarked on, and why should they care, and why should they follow, or why should they respect you, trust you, want to hire you, want to join you, or want to invest in you. Does that make sense so far? Cool. If you guys remember, on Monday night, I had you guys do an exercise called the brand promise. And many of you came up with some really great stuff. A lot of people were shy, which is okay. I understand. But if you did write something down that night, your brand promise is a great way to start. It's showing your purpose. It's showing why you want to do what you want to do. So I shared mine. Come to me with an open mind, and I will give you perspective. That is my guarantee. It shows why I do what I do, how I'm going to do it, and what I need from you in order to make it happen. So the brand promise is a great way to start. If you think in terms of mind map, it's your center. It's the center. So when you watch the Simon Sinek talk, you'll notice that throughout the entire presentation, and he does this awesome, using in terms of Nancy Duarte's sparkline, he infuses the statement. It's not what you do, it's a why you do it. It's not what you do, it's why you do it, is what makes people follow you or trust you. So, again, with the feelers, people want to be attached to those emotions. In week 1, we talked about how emotions are universal. That's something that everyone can relate to, even if they're not going through the exact same situation. There were parts in their life where they were successful. There were parts in life where they failed, cried, laughed, felt fear, vulnerability. And it's these emotions that that connect us to each other as human beings. And that's why the why is so important. The how, the middle, or getting them to think, is your uniqueness. What is it that you are going to bring to the table that is going to make you stand out above the rest? What is it that you are going to absorb on this journey here at Full Sail that you can speak about with confidence that you have it, and you could deliver on it? So your how is going to be talking about the journey that you had here, all the skills that you are obtaining. And even though it's going to be in the future, you know about it because you have researched your degree. And you know that you will learn Pro Tools, or you will learn Final Cut Pro, or you will learn Final Draft in your writing process, and you could write scripts, and you know how to do a television Bible. In gaming, you know code, you know C++. All these things come into fruition because at this moment in time, you have the power to obtain all that information. It's up to you to retain it and make it yours, and have the confidence that you will have that skill by the time that you graduate Full Sail, and you could speak about it with confidence. The other way that you can illustrate the how is things that you have already done. And there's nothing too big or too small when it comes to the planning the presentation or even the final presentation for this class. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Dream as big as you want to dream. Do not fear that you haven't created this amazing character in Adobe yet. It could be a sketch that you did when you were 12 years old, of a potential character. There's nothing wrong with sharing your progression and sharing your craft. So I want you to get rid of the reservations that I don't have a lot of experience, Ms. P. I don't have a lot of things that I worked on. There is nothing too big or too small. So gather all that evidence, even if it is a notebook sketch or it's a poem that you wrote in high school. Use that to your advantage. It just shows the progression of your journey. And how cool will it be that maybe 6 months from now, you go back and you're like, wow, I can add this and I can add that, and look how far I've come in 6 months. And then get motivated to know that in the next 6 months it's going to be even more incredible, and your creativity, your skill, your capabilities are going to be even stronger. And revel in that, celebrate that fact. It will keep you happy and moving forward. And then, and also, how to illustrate how is if you are doing anything in your communities, if you sing at church, if you have put videos together for a high school presentation, for a yearbook, if you videotape the marching band or football, or even if you created things for your family, for the holidays. All of this is experience, and it's an illustration of what you can do and what you're capable of. Is that clear? Cool. And lastly, your what. This is your call to action. This is the time that you want to drop that mic and make your audience make a decision. So it's really kind of restating your why and what you ultimately want to accomplish and what you need from them to accomplish it. So you are reiterating your why and your intention statement and why, what you need from them. Okay, Kayla, I say, I self-published a small novella a while ago, and I already feel like I've grown so much as a writer. The grammar alone is so much better. Yes. I can relate. I can relate wholeheartedly. And I don't know about you, but I have this thing where my brain works so much faster than I can type or write. So there's things that are left out, and you're talking about, yeah, you're talking. I'm an English lit major. I taught English literature in high school. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. There's things that I will leave out just because my brain works quicker than my pen does. But that's amazing, and I think that's an awesome thing to communicate in your final presentation. That you took it upon yourself. It shows responsibility. It shows determination. It shows that you researched what you can do. So absolutely that will be a strength in your presentation, and I encourage you to include it. And don't you worry, that's what's supposed to happen. Evolution is supposed to happen. So again, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of the anxiety that comes along with this process is everyone is afraid when it comes to the rough draft. And I'm not going to go too much into that because I want you to concentrate on week 2. But everyone freaks out and say, oh, well, I want to change this, or I want to add this, and I forgot this and I forgot that. That is what's supposed to happen. So the plans is your vomit of all your ideas. Then I take the time to get you in a direction, and I use the golden circle to give you a solid direction. And you're supposed to change your mind, and you're supposed to go in different directions, and you're supposed to have that time to reflect and find out new things about you and get excited about potential and capability. So do not be afraid of change. Change is supposed to happen. It's part of what makes it so exciting. Um, it would be boring if we didn't have the chance to evolve and make things better, and have the chance to celebrate the fact that we evolved and could make things better. Oh, thank you, Kayla. I appreciate it. Okay. On that note, my my good pupils. Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you want to ask me concerning anything we have done thus far? Okay, Mark, do you want to speak? Absolutely. I highly encourage you to include things that you've already done. Absolutely. And no, on that note, guys, think about it. You're starting from ground zero. You're talking about something that is true to your heart, having a goal and desires. If you are speaking to a company, or you're speaking to investors, or you're speaking to a potential team, they want to know what you're capable of. They want to know what you can do. So share your craft. If you want to be the next music producer, what do you think you should include in your presentation? If you want to be the next director in film, what do you think you should include in your presentation? If you want to be a writer for a television show, or for you know, to publish novels, what do you think you need to incorporate in your presentation? And that's your craft. Show them what you got. Show them what you're capable of. They will love that. It's your uniqueness. It's your craft. So if you do the spoken word, incorporate the spoken word. If you play the guitar, incorporate playing the guitar. If you draw if you doodle in a sketchbook, share the sketches. This is yours. This is your journey. This is your goal. These are your desires. This is what makes you happy and inspires you to continue on this path. So have fun with it and show everything. Absolutely, Kayla. Know at this point, this is potential people that you're going to speak to. So although knowing your audience is key, and that's what I'm going to look for, like you identify them as such, it's really it's me right now. Right now, this presentation is going to be presented to me, or and I'll get to that a little later. I'm thinking of giving an option, but I won't go into that now. But know that it's either myself or your classmates that are truly going to be involved in your presentation. So right now, sky's the limit, and I wouldn't be afraid to include anything. Cool. Mark, I'm a little confused about the question, but you are taught, if you are choosing the hire me situation, you are speaking to the company, and to a particular person or people, and identifying them as such. So whether it's the CEO or it's a department that you want to get into, know who your audience is. So you're not speaking to me as your instructor, you're actually speaking to the company. Does that make sense? Cool. As long as we're on the same page now, I'm cool with it. Cool. You're welcome. Okay, it's a little after 12, and of course, like I said in the beginning, we would probably not go the entire time. Although I keep it the same hours just in case there are a lot of questions. But I know that you guys have a lot to do, and you can always contact me through messaging, my email, or call me. I will be online until about 4 p.m. This evening, and then I'm back online usually by 8 a.m., but tomorrow is a longer day. So I'll be in the office probably around 10. We're having a huge celebration tomorrow night at Full Sail to honor those that get props. And I actually got my first airplane, and I'm so excited about it. It's related to supporting the students' dream, so I'm extremely excited. That means a lot to me. So it's going to be a big celebration, but that's tomorrow night, and I'll be in the office until about 4:30 tomorrow. If you guys need anything, just reach out. After this video renders, I'll post it to my YouTube channel and you'll have access to it. Other than that, if I don't speak to you guys, have a wonderful weekend. Be proactive to give yourself some time. Get your submission in so you can relax. At least on Sunday, relax. If you guys have no other questions, I bid you adieu and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.